Okay, on that note, I would like to put our guest, if the technicians, Tom, if you could put our guest up on the screen. See her. Excellent.
Oh, okay.
Mary-Ellen, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you, Stefan, and thank you really for this opportunity to brief you on the situation in South Sudan, particularly the food insecurity situation in the current context. I mean, you have been reading the news over the last couple of weeks about the escalating violence here in South Sudan, particularly in the Great Upper Nile region. The renewed violence and the conflict, the political and the security divisions and the fragmentation are compounding really a very difficult and desperate humanitarian situation here in South Sudan. The conflict and the violence are driving people and communities from their homes in some of the most toughest, most vulnerable, food insecure areas of South Sudan. And this is happening as South Sudan, as we're entering the annual lean season. It's a time of year when hunger reaches its peak. And right now we are seriously at a critical tipping point. Nearly 7.7 million people, that's over half the population, are already facing crisis, emergency or catastrophic levels of hunger here in South Sudan. This is among the worst levels of food insecurity that we have ever seen in the country, and particularly since independence. 40% of these people are in the Greater Upper Nile region, which is currently impacted by the escalating conflict. And over 60% of the population in the Great Upper Nile region are acutely food insecure. They cannot secure a meal a day for their family. Again, in South Sudan, we are witnessing the devastating impact that conflict has in driving hunger. Communities have fled with just the clothes on their backs, and meager livelihoods and seasonal coping strategies are abandoned. Fighting in the Great Upper Nile has already forced approximately 100,000 people to flee their homes. Humanitarian food assistance that is critical to staving off catastrophic hunger during the lean season is on hold. WFP has had to pause operations. We are unable to reach over 213,000 people because of the conflict in 6 counties. These are communities and families already trapped in the scourge of hunger due to cyclical violence, climate change, and the absence of stability and development. These areas are some of the most remote areas of the country. Physical access can be challenging at the best of times, but with active conflict, WFP cannot go up, we cannot go down the river, and these are areas where there are no roads, no cars, no trucks. And when we're bringing in food, we need to bring it in by river, or we needed to bring it in by air. When teams and partners go out to work in this area, they are there for days and they're working on food. And also, sadly, in the last few weeks, and it's really pity to report that over 100 metric tons of food, particularly nutrition supplies, have been looted in the midst of the conflict. Resources that we cannot replace. And this is food, nutrition supplies for children in a part of the country where over 17% of the children are malnourished. Our humanitarian resources here in South Sudan are already stretched thin. We have to prioritize within priorities to target the most extreme cases, particularly those facing emergency levels and catastrophic levels of food insecurity. But if the conflict and violence and the displacement continues at this scale, we're going to see needs continuing to rise in already desperate situations. There is also a cholera outbreak. It's posing another deadly threat. It's a public health crisis that is getting worse as the conflict and instability continues and as the displacement across the Upper Nile region grows and increases. This conflict, this escalation in violence, this new level of need is coming on top of already a significant challenges in South Sudan. The war in Sudan is forcing people to flee to South Sudan. As of today, over 1.1 million people have fled the war in Sudan to South Sudan. Many of these are returnees, they are refugees, they are coming with nothing. Every time I go up to rank and I speak to the women, whether they're returnees, whether they're refugees, all I hear is harrowing stories of the journeys they have undertaken that has taken them days, it's taken them weeks to arrive in South Sudan. Also, the economic crisis. So it's not just the people that have arrived from Sudan, but supply chains have been disrupted because of the war. Prices in the states bordering Sudan, food prices have doubled, tripled, gone up by 150, 200%. And even for WFP, our supply chains are disrupted, meaning we need to bring food up from the south, costing at least $100 per ton more. South Sudan also suffers from climate change, whether it is flooding or whether it is drought. At this juncture, this country, South Sudan, is in no position to withstand another war. An escalation in the conflict is already devastating for families and communities in the throes of food insecurity. And we're only going to see it getting worse, and it will be more difficult for us to pull them from it. The people of South Sudan, they deserve freedom from the prison of conflict, they deserve freedom from the prison of hunger, and they deserve our attention and support. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mary-Ellen, thank you so much. We'll open the floor for questions. Edie, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mary-Ellen. On behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association for doing this briefing, my name is Edith Lederer from the Associated Press. You've painted a very grim and dire picture. Are you already seeing deaths in South Sudan as a result of the inability to get humanitarian aid, especially food, to those in need? And with the rainy season approaching, and also the possibility of a renewal of the civil war, how dire will this get in terms of people just dying of hunger? Thank you.
Mary-Ellen, thank you. Mary-Ellen, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, yeah, sorry, I did paint a very dire picture, and it is, it's desperate, and to see these communities again upended by conflict and violence. These are areas that are the most food insecure in the country. I mean, already 60% of the populations are in what we call IPC4. Malnutrition levels, the general is about 17%, some places it's 20, it's 22. I would be extremely concerned. I mean, going into the rainy season, particularly now as we can't get access into some of the most difficult areas, the pictures coming out where people are making sort of makeshift survival, let me say, are horrendous, right? And the longer that, that we cannot get in because it's not safe to fly in, or it's not safe to travel by river with supplies, the more difficult the situation is going to get. And, you also, as I said, there's also the cholera outbreak, and already, I mean, there's deaths from that public health emergency. And as the rainy season, it's some of the most hospitable terrain that I have seen in my 30-year career with the World Food Programme in terms of, So I'm very concerned, and the team are very concerned, and as a community, we're extremely concerned going forward. Over.
Thank you. Any other questions? Gabrielle, please go ahead.
Mary-Ellen, this is Gabriel Elizondo from Al Jazeera English. Thank you for the very detailed briefing. It was very informative. I just wanted to ask you, how closely does WFP work with USAID in South Sudan, and how will USAID's closure affect either your work or your partner organizations' work in South Sudan? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. The people of the United States have been an incredibly generous partner and supporter to the people of South Sudan for many years, and continue to be, to the humanitarian effort in South Sudan and to the World Food Programme in South Sudan, and they continue to be. While there is some uncertainty, we are still working with them, and we're they still have South Sudan as a priority for food assistance.
Thank you. Do you still have a question? Yes, Ephraim.
Thank you so much. This is Ephraim Kosaifi from Arab News Daily. Do you have any estimate of how much money you need for your humanitarian response for, I don't know, in general, but also for the most urgent situations that you have spoken about? And also, have you had any contact with the leaders? And I wonder if you know what their reaction is to these figures and to the situation you just described right now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. For us, for WFP to meet the most critical needs from now on to December, we need $396 million. And that's to be able to reach 4.5 million people. That means out of that 7.7 million people, we will be leaving people behind. It's estimated by the humanitarian community that over 9 million people need humanitarian support in South Sudan. And I didn't quite get your second question.
The leaders also there, and what their response has been when you tell them about the humanitarian situation. Also, please, how much of the 396 do you have right now as well?
Yeah, the 396 is my shortfall, is what I need. I think I have, so I don't have any of that. That's what I need to be able to continue with the programs up to the end of the year. In South Sudan, as I said, it's some of the most difficult terrain, and you have limited infrastructure. So what we need to do is pre-position food stocks as we approach the rainy season, so that communities that are food insecure, that are cut off, have resources throughout the rainy season. I suppose with the leaders, it's trying to highlight to them the accountability and also the responsibility also that they have, to invest in basic services, and also, calling for peace and for stability. The people of South Sudan, they deserve better. They deserve peace. They deserve prosperity, and they deserve hope.
Thank you. Are there any more questions in the room or on the screen? Sinan, you have a question? No. Okay. So we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much, Mary-Ellen McGroarty, the World Food Programme Country Director in South Sudan. Thank you. You were with us. Thank you all.